My name's Andrew Petts. I look after the nutrition for the Gloucester-Hartpury team, and here are my 5 top tips for female athletes. So the first one is match your energy demands. So the most important thing to do when you are in any sort of sport or any sort of life is match the energy you output. Match your energy output with your energy input. So basically what that means is the amount of work that you actually do in terms of training, lifting weights, running. Obviously if not rugby players, you're a female athlete in general, the amount of running that you would do. Energy demands need to be matched. So we need to make sure that we're eating enough food, because that has a huge impact on performance, huge impact on health as well. If we're not eating what we need, then we could be compromising our performance, but also compromising our health. Second is, if you're vegetarian or vegan, or you have deficiencies that you know about, it's really important to know what those deficiencies actually mean. So if you're vegan or vegetarian, are you compromising your iron intake? If you're compromising the iron intake, especially as females, are you going to compromise the amount of hemoglobin your blood can produce and carry the oxygen around in that respect as well? So it's, again, really important. So first one, vital one, match your energy demands. Second one, if you do have a deficiency because you know you're a vegan or you know you're a vegetarian, how can you combat that? How can you get around that to make sure that we're not compromising that? And same with things like with calcium. We need to make sure our bones, teeth, everything else is strong. So there's a few other deficiencies that we can mention here, but they're two pretty big ones that we need to nail down. The third bit of advice is food prep and food planning. So you know, if you've got training coming up, how are you going to fuel for that? How are you going to recover for that? They're the two sort of major things. So meal prepping is a huge part of it. Making food on a Sunday ready for the next couple of days will just take the pain out of getting home from training late. If you train in the evening and just think, well, what am I going to have now? Having that prepared and ready to heat up will make life so much easier, enable you to get the right recovery in after that, and also even take it with you and have it as a snack potentially before you start training, so that fueling isn't compromised. Have it between gym and the pitch sessions, which is what the players at Gloucester-Hartpury will do. So making sure that we're fueling between sessions as well, to make sure we're maximising every single aspect of our training that we can. Fourth bit of advice would be to track the menstrual cycle. So we could go into a lot of detail about the nutrition around the menstrual cycle, but I think it comes back to making sure that that first point is your energy demands are matched. So if the output you're doing, so the amount of work you're doing, the amount of energy you're giving, you're matching that and more with intake. Do not be afraid to eat. Okay, and then coupled with that, then tracking the menstrual cycle and just sort of noting down days where you're not so great, feeling a little bit fatigued, just noting what days that what days they are, and then on a calendar, sort of in a 3 months down the line, taking a step back, looking at the big picture. Are there any trends in that? Does it happen at particular times within your cycle? Things like that. Can we put that right then with nutrition elements? And that, obviously that's when we speak to nutritionists, speak to people that will potentially have a bit more of an answer. But just information gathering is key, especially when it comes to making sure that we're making sure our nutrition is correct, and like I say, we're tracking our menstrual cycle just to see if there are any irregularities. Sleep hygiene, I know it's not nutrition, but this is one I get asked quite a lot, and I can relate it back to nutrition. So for me, that evening meal, as soon as you've had it, one of the biggest tips I've read about in the research is to try and get ready for bed as soon as you can. So what that might mean is, I don't know, brush your teeth, put your pajamas on, etc., whatever that looks like for you as an individual. But what that means is then when you get sleepy, you can go straight to bed, as opposed to then waking yourself up by doing the dishes, brushing your teeth, etc. So had that main meal, you've had your recovery meal. Best thing to do is, obviously, unless you're going out, then don't go out in your pajamas for sure, but get ready for bed as early as you can. Because then you don't sort of wake yourself up doing the other things that you would do before bed. Straight into bed, get a good night's sleep, because that is all part of that recovery process as well. And then the last tip I'm going to say is a food first approach. Supplements are really important in certain aspects. So if we're deficient in some vitamins, etc. Obviously we're out in actually it's not too bad at the minute, but the UK at the minute, where vitamin D is going to be lacking slightly, potentially looking at supplements into that point. Food first approach for me. Just let's make sure that we get our food right. Let's be eating lots of carbohydrates, lots of proteins, lots of fats, and we don't sort of compromise or worry about dieting as much because we're training hard. Let's focus on that training element. Let's get our nutrition right through proper foods. Let's supplement. Its sort of name gives it away a little bit if we need to, and enjoy your food. I think that's the biggest thing for me. Is people worry about eating right and not sort of doing the right things, but if on the whole you've got your balance of carbohydrates, proteins and fats right, and you're eating in and around training, and then we're looking at sort of the bigger picture, we're getting enough sleep, we're not feeling fatigued because we're not eating enough in and around training, we're tracking our cycles, so we can know then in the future if anything pops up we can try and alleviate that, and we're enjoying our food. That's the main thing. They will be my my tips for female rugby players, female athletes in general.